morning. Welcome to Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations. I'm Catherine, and hello, everybody in the chat. Looks like you guys are all ready for a Saturday morning, or maybe it's Sunday where you are, or maybe it's yesterday. I don't know, but welcome. I'm Catherine. If you're new here, please say hello. We like to know where you're from, and I see lots of my regulars in the chat. Thank you guys for being here this morning. It's been a crazy week. And I am going to have a guest on this morning, as I put in the thumbnail and in the description. Tricia from Websleuths is here, and I will be adding her in just a few minutes. She's awesome and amazing, and I'm so grateful that she is coming on my show today. It's really exciting. So how are you? We got Idaho in the house there, sunshine in my heart. And I'm just looking at the chat to see what's going on. So it's been a crazy week. I don't even know where to begin. Work was so busy this week, and it's just been crazy. My son-in-law was on MSNBC the other morning, and then he was interviewed by the Today Show. He got asked to come on Tucker Carlson at Fox for yesterday, but he actually turned it down because they wanted to send a car for him to come to the studio. And I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's all to do with the GameStop stock market thing and the hedge funds. And he was part of a Reddit thread that went in and purchased some of the stock, and they spent $35 and made not a boatload of money, because they only spent $35, but people are making a lot of money off of this. And basically, Wall Street was just beat its own game. The right and the left have kind of come together on this one and are like saying the same thing for once. It's for once. But my son-in-law was interviewed by the New York Times, and he was in the article in the New York Times based on the New York Times writer was saying that she wanted somebody he follows her on Twitter, and he wanted somebody that has been involved in this. And so he DM'd her like she asked for, and make sure my phone's not on do not disturb in case Tricia has an issue. And anyways, he DM'd her, and so then there was an article in the New York Times, and my daughter piped in the bottom and said something. The actual quote was a 17th century quote, was "Eat the rich." And then Twitter kind of went crazy, with their comments. And Justin, my son-in-law, is a pastor. He's an evangelical pastor, but he's also liberal. He's a Democrat. He is liberal-minded. And so it just goes against the narrative in all kinds of ways, right? So he was invited on MSNBC. So there's a clip of that. And then on the Today Show, and I'm really bummed that he turned down Tucker Carlson. I really wanted him to go there because I love the fact that both sides have come together on something, But anyways, enough from that. It's just been crazy. And I am going to do this live stream today. And if you're my, where's my coffee? If you are one of my members, I wasn't able to do happy hour last night, and I canceled it, but we will do happy hour Friday, this coming Friday. We will do it, and we will also do another one in February, because I want to do one a month. That is the promise. So we'll do next Friday, and then we'll do the final Friday of the month, which would be, what's the date? On the final Friday of February, because, hold on, let me make sure, because there's a very important event on the final day of February. And, okay, the final day of February is a Sunday, so we're good. But my birthday is the last day of February, FYI. So, let's see. Joy Catcher, I know what you mean. I had my father with me all week because I took him to get his COVID vaccine. In the process of having him over, my house is a wreck. I need to give it. Oh, yeah. And then one of my friends is driving in from San Diego today. She usually watches my show, but she's like, what time should I get there? Because I don't want to walk in the middle of it. And I'm like, come on in. But she's going to come here. She's on her way here as soon as, as soon as I'm done. So she's going to be spending the weekend. I'm also working on making a new studio area for my recorded videos for the audio purposes and everything. And I'm working on that as well. So it's just been busy. And then I'm getting my COVID vaccine tomorrow, my first dose. And I know this always goes controversy in the chat, the COVID vaccine thing, but I'm getting mine tomorrow. And I will let you know if I grow an extra head or if all of a sudden I look 400 instead of whatever age I am, and all this stuff. My oldest son thinks it's gonna. You like my blouse? Oh my gosh! I went into Marshall's yesterday. This blouse was $3. $3 at Marshall's, and it's long, so I can wear it with leggings. Isn't that crazy? They have a sale right now, and the lady told me that they do it usually about a couple weeks into the new year. They do this big sale. Hey, Cynthia, welcome to becoming a member. Very much appreciate that. Thank you. So yeah, it's $3. Shoot, can't get sure it wouldn't be able to get at a Goodwill for $3, and nobody's ever worn it. Well, they might have tried it on, who knows? But yeah, so I went in there to look for one thing. Oh, well, there you go. If that works. No, I don't even have to pay for Botox, that means, right? So yeah, $3. They had a whole rack, but I had already bought a bunch of home goods stuff in my cart and didn't have any more room in my cart. So I bought 2 shirts. One was $6 and one was $3. It was amazing. So I was like, shoot, I should have spent more time on their clearance rack because there was nothing wrong with it. It doesn't have a tear. It doesn't have anything. It's just a regular shirt. So I told Tricia, to take her time. I was talking to her on the phone, so she definitely will be here. Also, I want to point out a couple things, you guys. I am working on a fact check video about the Orrin and Orson West case. Classic and sincere. Whatever we're calling them, their legal names are Orrin and Orson. And I'm working on a fact check video about them. I found some really important information that's floating out there that is inaccurate. And for example, they were seen at that house earlier. There's just stuff that's getting all over the place with this case. And it has become just what I think a lot of people have lost sight of the fact there's 2 missing boys. But, I have a completely different, my videos are completely different than everybody else's out there. Not everybody, but most other creators out there are calling the parents out, flat out calling them out, saying they're guilty. And there's not enough evidence to say that no matter what anybody says, no matter what anybody's gut feeling is, no matter what, there's no evidence, really not enough that we can see as the social media or the general public. There's not enough evidence to flat out accuse these people. And the problem is we have a responsibility. My opinion is I have a responsibility running this channel that I will not destroy other people's lives. And what if they're innocent? If they're innocent, all the comments, all the attacks, all the videos have already been seen and can't be unseen. And I don't want a channel that becomes one of those channels that are like, oh my gosh, guilty, just calling them out. We don't know. We have a lot of reasons to suspect them, a lot of reasons, but we also have a responsibility to not be, exactly, Connie, not be vigilantes, not partake in that vigilantism, and to let them have their peace. This is the United States of America, whether you like it or not, and we believe in the Constitution. The 5th and 14th Amendment, these people have the right to be innocent before proven guilty. And their parents in their home, the elderly grandparents' house. So anyways, that's all I'm going to say about that right now. But I just think that we just need to be careful, very careful. And like people said, you saw it in the Heidi Broussard case where everybody was accusing the poor guy because the way he acted on camera, the husband, and look what happened. So we just need to be careful. That's all I'm saying. We can talk about it. And we can talk about it. Some of the channels I really enjoy have jumped aboard the blame game for clicks. It makes me think less of creators and despite liking them. And I also think that no one should be forever. Yeah. I also think, you guys, there's so many other cases. I know we want to keep it in the news and keep it out there, and we can, and we do, and we have the videos up, and people come along every day and watch the video that didn't see it before. But there's so many cases out there that are begging for attention. I mean, there's missing. Look at what happened with Echo Lloyd. Her case did not get any attention on YouTube, while everybody was doing 15, 16, 20, 30. Barry Murphy did it. Barry Murphy did it. When I think our platform as creators is to find as many cases and talk about them as possible and let people know what's going on. So it's just, you can't, I just lose respect for people that make the same video 18 times and say the same thing and just saying it in a different way. Okay, a couple times, like, this is weird, this looks strange, but over and over and over and flat out calling people dirt bags and blaming like the mother-in-law and stuff. Anyways, and then the whole purpose of people say critical thinking. That's what I was trying to do, but I got crucified for saying I was critical thinking in my videos. Critical thinking doesn't mean I'm saying I'm right and you're wrong. It just means let's look at the possibilities and let's see what is more likely to have happened than not. Oh, Tricia's here. I'm going to invite her in. So everybody, here we go. Let's bring Tricia in. Hi, Tricia.
How are you?
Good. Welcome to Left Undone. I'm so happy you're here.
I am thrilled to be here. Thank you for asking me, and I apologize for being late. I literally had a wild turkey incident. Not talking about the booze. I'm talking about wild turkeys. Had a little issue between a standoff with my dog and two wild turkeys, and the wild turkeys were about to win. So I had to go in and break it up. So I apologize for being, I have wild turkey. They're out here eating now. And they're huge. I mean, they look like they're about 50 pounds, and they're big monsters. And they just didn't take too kindly to my yappy little dog going out there trying to, assert. Yeah, exactly. So I do apologize. It was quite the thrill, let me tell you.
Yeah, that's funny. When I lived up in Oregon for a couple of years, they were everywhere. They were walking down the city streets.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was like, what?
Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Right?
Okay, I got to do something here. My head is tilted and I didn't realize it. Maybe it's my hair. So I got to go. Okay, hold on.
I don't think you look tilted to me.
I don't. Okay, good. Because it looked like I'm just going like falling over. So I am so thrilled to be here because I love your show. And we were talking about critical thinking today. And I said, some people feel that critical thinking means you have to think like they do, and then it's critical thinking, So yeah, yes. No, you've got to look at all sides. And again, as we were talking, when people go on the internet and start posting about true crime, they have to realize their words have power, a lot of power. And just because they say something and then go off and with their lives doesn't mean that what they said didn't affect an innocent person tremendously. And that's what people have to be very, very careful of. So,
absolutely. Yes, you said it perfectly. Thank you so much. Yes.
You're welcome. So
Marilyn says you have a good hair day, Tricia.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's good because I wore it in a big tight ponytail on top of my head like a pineapple, and I just undid it and it fell down. So I'm lucky. Very lucky. Tell her thank you.
I love good hair days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't complain about a good hair day.
No, and they're few and far between, believe me.
So you got, for anybody that doesn't know Tricia, she has a YouTube channel, but she also is the owner of the Websleuths website. And Tricia, tell us about that for people that don't know about that website.
Well, really quickly, Websleuths.com was started. I didn't start it. It was started to discuss the JonBenét Ramsey case. But in 2004, I was approached by the owner. She was fed up with it. And at that time, I owned a very small forum, which is still up, called forumsforjustice.org, which focuses on the JonBenét Ramsey case. And she contacted me and said, look, I'm so sick of it. I'm just too much drama and problems. And she said, I want to give it to you. And I said, no, I'll buy it. So I bought it from her. And when I went over there, they had a bunch of different forums, different discussions going on about true crime. And they had 2 really good discussions going, one on John Bonet and one on Lacey Peterson. The rest of it was like a snake pit, vipers. It was just, I know where you live. I'm going to sue you. I can shoot out your window, just, oh my God, it was horrible. So I went, wow, no wonder she didn't like this. So I banned a bunch of people, got a bunch of death threats. Fast forward to like about 2008, the mods and I decided we're going to really tighten the rules. We're going to make it so people can't post, hey, this is what I heard, or there's this rumor. And we're going to make it so people just can't say, well, have you looked at the neighbor in this case? That neighbor is really weird, unless the neighbor has been brought up by the police. We tighten the rules, no rumors. If you are commenting on somebody else's post, you had to be polite. You couldn't say, well, that's stupid. You had to say, well, I disagree, and here's why. And so anyway, we tightened the rules. We banned a bunch of people again. And I really thought at that time in 2008, I made a mistake because I got so much blowback from people. All the good posters are leaving. Nobody's going to stay. Nobody can talk. And a lot of people did leave. And I thought, oh my gosh, I did it. You're not giving me my First Amendment right. And what people don't understand, not all people, some people don't understand, is you can say whatever you want. I can't stop you. But I don't have to have you in my house saying it. I can ask you to leave my property. And Websleuths is my property. They don't have a right to come in and say whatever they want. So anyway, I thought I was done. And then something happened that I had not expected. All these people started coming out of the woodwork saying, thank you. I needed a place to post, but I couldn't post on Websleuths because I felt like I was getting bullied all the time. And then it exploded. Everybody came because of the tight rules and the Casey Anthony case. We had those 2 things going at that time, and it exploded, and it's gone. It's just continued upward since then. And our rules are changing all the time. They're fluid depending on the case. And our moderators, we moderate 24/7. Couldn't do it without the moderators. They are amazing. Volunteer people. I love them. They're the best. So, and well, I can tell you this, Websleuths is used all the time by media and by law enforcement. They're reading there constantly. I can see law enforcement's IP addresses. It says what law enforcement agency is there and what they're reading, which is great. I want them to come on and read because my goal has always been, okay, law enforcement, give us this piece of evidence that you hate that's so boring and let our members go at it. We've done that once before with a t-shirt. This detective called me and he said, I really like Websleuths. He said, we have this case. It's 23 years old. This is back in 2014. And it's a hiker who was found, I think he was a hiker, and no identification other than he had this t-shirt on with this emblem and he was murdered. And for 23 years, we have been trying to find out who this guy is. And we've been trying to find out where he got this t-shirt. Hey, Scratchy, I mean it. You don't start up again. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyway.
Lulu's going to hear him and she's going to
I know. Start barking. So he said, we've been trying to find out where this t-shirt was made. And for 23 years, we can't find it out anything about it. So we posted it on Websleuths. And for a couple of weeks, our members were really doing some great work. And then this member came back from vacation. And this particular member, within 36 hours, found out where it was made, who made it, when it was made, where you could buy it now, who owns it now, everything. And she just took a different route than everybody else. But it just goes to show, you throw something like that out there. And that is my golden example that I try and show law enforcement is, come on, don't look at us like we're the problem. We're not Facebook. You don't come on our thing, you don't come on Websleuths and there's a bunch of drama. We can do things much better. And we have people from all over the world. We have experts. That's one thing we do. We verify people. Somebody comes on and says, hey, I'm an ink expert. Well, we tell them they can't post anymore until they prove they're an ink expert to us. We verify who they are, and that way people know that they are that they are who they say they are, and they can be trusted. So, you know, we do feel that Websleuths is a very unique community, and we are in the position to help. And someday, Catherine, I'm telling you, I will get through to these law enforcement agencies to understand we don't want credit, we don't want money, we don't want anything. We just want to help.
That's awesome.
That's the very, very condensed story. I could go on for days about how Websleuths got to where it is today.
No, I know. When I'm really looking into a case, I join the Facebook groups, but then it's all like, you know, people attacking each other, and then they're like, everybody needs to be nice. But then you go on these tangents and these threads, and you can't find facts. And I'm like, oh, Websleuths, I can go over there, and I can go through an entire thread and find the facts. And it's really, I love it. I just absolutely love it. It's
thank you. I appreciate it. That means a lot to me, because I know you have a lot of subscribers that have probably not heard of Websleuths, and I invite them to come and join. All we need is an email address. It can be a free, like Google, Yahoo, whatever. Just an email address and a username, and that's what we need. So
perfect. Yeah, I joined. I can't remember when I joined. It's been a few years for sure. Before I ever started my channel.
Good deal.
Yeah, for sure. And so I know we were talking earlier, and you were telling me a different subject now, but about you started with and you just brought this up. The JonBenét Ramsey case was while you started now, and then you have been really looking into that right now. You had a guest on last night. Tell us about that.
Last night, we had a guy on named James Kohler, and he was the lead investigator in the DA's office in 2005 and 2006 in the JonBenét Ramsey case. He wrote a book because he was so disgusted with how the DA looked at the evidence. The DA didn't want him investigating the Ramseys. They were off limits. So he left. He took his own money, and he wrote a book in 2012 called Foreign Faction: Who Really Kidnapped JonBenét Ramsey by James Kohler. This book, he lays out all the evidence, and he doesn't tell you who he thinks did it. He's told the DA, but he doesn't feel it's proper for him to say who he believes did it. And he lays it out, and you have to decide. And the reason, first of all, this year is going to be the 25th anniversary of her death. So what has happened is JonBenét's older half-brother, his name is John Andrew. He is the son of John Ramsey from an earlier marriage. He has decided now he wants to hunt for the real killer. Where was he, almost 25 years ago when the police wanted to talk to him? They didn't cooperate. They say they did. They didn't. Where was he all these years? John Ramsey. How often have you seen John Ramsey on a TV show saying, we need to find the killer. Here's what we need to do. We've started a foundation because he's wealthy. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You haven't heard jack about him. They don't want to find the real killer. John Andrew might, because I think he believes his dad and his stepmother. But he's, anyway, they did this 2020, which was an embarrassment, because it was just a love letter to a guy named Lou Smith, who, for some reason, and nobody knows why, he lost his mind on this case and wouldn't look at the evidence. He prayed with the Ramseys. He was a good Christian. And after he prayed with them, he just felt like they couldn't do it, And so they're starting this whole cottage industry on let's look for the intruder. Okay. And so last night, what we did was we took with James Kohler, the guy who has all the evidence. John Andrew doesn't. This man has, obviously seen the grand jury testimony from 1998. We don't know what it is because it's sealed. But we did find out a couple of years ago that the grand jury indicted both the parents. Both the parents were indicted. And for not keeping it, and I'm paraphrasing here, things like, not protecting the child and and it kind of gave the little bit that we got like a one sheet saying what the charges were. And it seemed like they may have been talking even about a third person. So there were 3 people in that house, but the parents were indicted and the DA decided not to go through with the indictment. Nobody knew that until just a few years ago when a couple of reporters, the couple of grand jurors came forward to their detriment because they could be charged, because grand jurors are not supposed to talk in Colorado, but they did. Now, to 2020's credit, they had a grand juror on there that came forward and said, I want to show my name and face. I don't care. And he said, nobody believed anything the parents said. It was a bunch of crap. And Lou Smith, this detective who demanded to be heard in front of the grand jury, he gave them his big golden presentation. They totally dismissed it because it was a bunch of baloney. And they indicted the parents. Anyway, last night with James Kohler, we took the evidence of the intruder and we unpacked it and we showed exactly how and why none of it was correct. Okay. And that's why the show is like 2.5 hours. Then what we did is we showed Patsy Ramsey wrote the note. Now, here's the thing. If you can come to terms with Patsy Ramsey wrote the note, all this other stuff doesn't matter. All this intruder stuff doesn't matter because Patsy wouldn't write a note for an intruder, right? Well, even though we can prove Patsy wrote the note, you can never say in this world anything is 100%, except for maybe the sun will come up and go down tomorrow. We don't know that for sure, but as close as we can get. Even though we can show that Patsy wrote the note, we still unpacked and destroyed every bit of intruder evidence with logic and with evidence. And so it is appalling to me that in this 25th year, that John Andrew Ramsey literally all of a sudden decides to speak out. He wants to find the real killer. Where was he? Where was his father? For God's sake, where was the anger? There is never any anger at the intruder. You watch that. I'm sorry. I know I'm going off here. I apologize. I'll come back down here in just a minute. But you watch the Dr. Phil show with Burke. Don't watch Burke. Forget about Burke. See what John Ramsey says. He is so angry. He is so mad at the media. Oh. Never a word about the intruder. You talk to Mark Klass, you know who he's mad at, who he could kill with his bare hands and go out and have a turkey sandwich after. He's mad at the guy who killed his daughter. He wants to rip him apart with his bare hands, and he would gladly do it if they let him. That is the anger you expect to see from a father of a murdered child. Let me just say one more thing, and then I will calm down, take a deep breath, and I will let you speak. Okay. You have 2 kids in the house, 2 little kids. One is murdered by a foreign faction who's getting even with John Ramsey. Okay. You have 2 kids. One is now dead by this foreign faction who killed your daughter, said they were going to behead her based on the fact that they were mad at John Ramsey. This is what's in the ransom note. Would you let your other child out of your sight ever again? No. They sent Burke back to school a week later, like nothing happened. Oh my God. I equated it to if this happened to one of my pets, that somebody took up my pet and killed it and left me this horrible note, I would hold my pets close to me and never let them go, let alone my children. My kid would be in a basement today if he was my only child left after that, never seeing sunlight. I would be so terrified to let them out, and that's how people react. But they didn't act like they had anything to worry about. Again, there's so much evidence that shows it was not an intruder. And I'm telling you, he's already blocked me on Twitter, John Andrew. I tried to have a conversation with him. He's blocked me and called me a troll. This is my year. I'm done. I'm done with these people lying, and they've thrown innocent people under the bus, and they've ruined their lives. And law enforcement's lives have been ruined because of these arrogant, rich, privileged people who had power when nobody else did. Can you imagine if this had been a Hispanic family, or perhaps an African-American family? Oh my God, we wouldn't have heard about it. It would have been, oh, here it is. They've been arrested. They're tried. They're guilty. Done, but they knew who to call. I'm sorry. I don't mean to ramble.
No, I think it's really interesting. And it's, I'm fascinated. And what you were telling me about the DNA stuff is really interesting too, because you said people are like, well, there's DNA. Well, there's DNA, but you have a really good explanation for that.
The DNA, and I am not a DNA expert. And if you go to the description of the show last night, I've put a link into an article about the DNA. Mary Lacey, the DA at the time that James Kohler was there, totally misrepresented the DNA, saying that the DNA belonged to the killer. Well, that's not true. First of all, people think DNA, they think, flesh, skin, blood, semen. There's none of that there. This is what's called touch DNA. And I'm telling you, if you swabbed me right now, you would find all kinds of different profiles on me, because we walk through public areas, and there's dust, there's skin cells floating around. You can find it on you. And there is like 5 or 6 different profiles on John Bonet. So which one of those is the intruder? Or did they have 5 or 6 people there? See, Mary Lacey never told you that. Now, their big thing is there was blood in the underwear. It was John Bonet's blood. And they did find it was this microscopic, couldn't even get enough markers to do a profile type thing. And the underwear was brand new. And it was a size 12. So the intruder had to go up to John Bonet's room and find this package of underwear that was meant as a gift for somebody else. Open it and put a new pair of underpants on her. Why? I don't know. But anyway, so in the manufacturing, and these underpants, I believe, were manufactured in Asia. In the manufacturing, people on the line sneeze, they touch it, that type of thing. And Henry Lee early on said that this material in the underpants that was not a full marker. They couldn't get a full marker to put into CODIS. That's how degraded and small it was. So it's not this it's not this intruder DNA. Henry Lee said it looks like a particle of a sneeze, is what he said it was. And he went and bought underpants like the same type, opened it up, and found that type of DNA all over, because it's on a factory line and people are sewing and making it. That's what it was. Now, here's the odd thing. When they went to test the DNA again, they couldn't even find that DNA in her underpants. It wasn't even there. It was just her blood. And when I say when they went to do it again, it was, years later, just fairly recently. So this bull about the DNA, and in this 2020, we've tested the DNA against all these suspects and it didn't match. It's never going to match. Go ahead, take all your money. They have a GoFundMe they've raised over $40,000 for. Sorry, that's my alarm reminding me to do paperwork. I'm so sorry. Scrappy Joe. Scrappy.
It's like the turkeys are out of control.
They are. Anyway, that they're people hear DNA. Oh no, they have the $40,000 in their GoFundMe. They're trying to get 100,000. I'm sure it's for DNA testing because it's expensive. Go for it. Spend all your money, waste it. You will not find any matches on John Bonet because you know what? Patsy Ramsey wrote the note, and there's over 240 matches to her handwriting in the note that they have found in handwriting that she had done before, that she had just done naturally. I mean, let me just give you 2 quick examples, and I swear to you, I'll be quiet.
Yes.
Okay. Number one, the first thing that struck me, and I always go for the easiest, because I've never said I'm a genius here, but the intruder makes their Q like the number 8. And I thought, well, that's the weirdest Q I've ever seen. Well, guess who else does that? Patsy Ramsey. In the ransom note, it was either 4 or 5 different ways to write the letter O and write the letter A in the ransom note, like a cursive A printed A, and a cursive O, and all these different ways to write an O. And so this was in the ransom note. Those exact same types of A's and O's are found in Patsy Ramsey's handwriting prior to John Bonet being killed. So here you have a woman who makes her A's and her O's. I'm just going to say 4 just to be safe. 4 different types of ways when she's writing notes. Those exact 4 different types of A's and O's, I mean, they are exact, are in the ransom note. Okay, that's just 2 things. There are over 240 of those examples. It's ridiculous to suggest that anybody else could have written the note but her. Anybody. You can't. I mean, the intruder would have to be some sort of savant genius to study Patsy's handwriting and write it exactly. You try and write somebody's handwriting exactly. Can't do it. And, here's somebody's panic trying to, write around.
I tried in high school to write my mom's.
Exactly. We've all tried to do that. It's impossible, But
it looks pretty good, but
yeah, I know they could always tell that it was, me saying my mom gave me an excuse. No. Right. So anyway, it really is upsetting to see the Ramseys come out 25 years later. And now all of a sudden, when all this investigation, where were you when it mattered, for God's sakes? And don't believe one second when they say we cooperated, we went down and we gave fingerprints and we gave, swabs and blah, blah, blah. They had to. It's Colorado law. They have to come down and give that evidence. You're not allowed to ask them questions, but by law, they had to go in and give that evidence. Well, they hold that up as we cooperated. No, you didn't. You did what you had to do so you wouldn't get arrested. They weren't interviewed by the police until 4 months later. And the police hands were so tied by what they had to agree to just to get them in that interview room. It's maddening, Catherine. It is maddening beyond belief.
Interesting. Well, so Crimea River says, I don't understand the why of killing their daughter. But as I've heard you say, is you don't know that they killed their daughter. We don't know.
We don't know. All we know is there was no intruder. And there were 3 people there that night, John, Patsy, and Burke. What I think is a very logical explanation is she was accidentally hit on the head by someone. And then the rest of it is staging. Okay. The whole thing is it's staged by someone who's trying to look like they're a criminal and they don't know how to be a criminal. 2.5-page ransom note, this bizarre staging in the basement. That's what happened. I firmly believe, and I would guess that almost all the investigators, the real investigators, believe it was an accident. Nobody meant to kill John Bonet that night. It wasn't meant to be. It was an accident, and they had to stage it. So
that makes sense. Karina says, I use this case for an essay in my forensics linguistics element of my degree. I came to the same conclusion.
Thank you. Thank you very much. See, somebody who's educated, a hell of a lot smarter than I am, came to the same conclusion. Thank you, my dear. Thank you, Katrina. Is it Katrina?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on.
Karina.
Karina, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Either way, we know it's up on the screen. So
okay.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. That's really interesting. Thank you for letting us know that, because
there you go.
And Lisa says, or maybe fell down the stairs. Right. But it's for whatever reason, somehow in that house, it was an accident. I was like overthinking to just not say it was an accident. You know what I mean? Could have saved everybody a whole lot of trouble.
And here's the thing, what we have to remember. The Ramseys were all about appearance. Patsy was a beauty contestant in the Miss America pageant. She was Miss West Virginia. She is very theatrical. She was in theater in college. And her home was on the Grand Tour in Boulder for Christmas. Every room had a Christmas tree. You go to their bedroom, Patsy's pageantry gowns and sashes and everything were laid out, as well as John Bonet's trophies. And, people came through the house, and she was all about appearances. And to have this accident, whatever it was, they just couldn't, no, they had to save their family, make it look like a crazy man did it. And then they could go on and grieve and say, that we're not those type of people. Nobody in our household would accidentally hit her in the head because they were mad, And there's two things. The theory is there are two possible instruments used. One was a big mag flashlight, those kind the cops use that are really tall. That was found like just standalone on the counter in the kitchen, and it was wiped down. Okay. The batteries were wiped down. Who wipes down the battery? Exactly. Or a golf club. John Ramsey's golf club was taken, not by the police, but by his sister-in-law. And he specifically said, get the golf clubs. There was an incident where Burke swung a golf club accidentally and hit John Bonet in the face, and she had to have stitches, and they were all worried, plastic surgery, is she going to have it? So, accidents do happen. Nobody knows what happened after that night. Nobody knows. After that night, other than there's no intruder, Patsy wrote the note. Now, there are some highly educated people who have seen the grand jury testimony. And to me, that's where the truth lies. We can't see it. Colorado law would not allow it until the case is closed. If we could see that, because we're not even sure who testified, but there's a lot of people we do know who testified who've never spoken before, and they have a lot to say. And there was, I'm sure, a lot more physical evidence that we don't know about that's in the grand jury. And that to me is where the key lies in this case. And I wish I had the indictments here. The indictments were worded in such a strange way that it's like, well, are you saying they killed their kid or they didn't protect John Bonet from being killed? It's just hard to understand. And then the 2 pages that were released by a judge, they have a big part of it blacked out. You can't read it. And it has been suggested that blackout part talks about a third person. And if it does talk about a third person, it would be somebody who's not a public figure, or perhaps a minor, somebody that they couldn't release their name at the time. So that's what is out there. I'm really hoping that more grand jurors will come forward and tell us more. And that grand juror that came out in the 2020, he's risked it. They could put him in jail. I hope they don't. They shouldn't, because this is ridiculous. It's ridiculous that the truth is there, but because of the law, we're not allowed to see the truth. And these, I call them Ramsey infomercials, are allowed to happen,
Mm-hmm.
So let's see the grand jury testimony. Come on. Let's just do it.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I swear to you, I'm going to stop talking about it.
Good for you. Hey, well then we can talk about the Orrin and Orson case.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, because you told me something really interesting. Okay.
Well, okay. So I've been doing, for everybody, I'm working on a fact-based video. What do we know? What are the facts? What are the rumors out there? And I've come across, and I have some help from my friends, because I have some amazing subscribers that have come up with a lot of cross-referencing videos that maybe people aren't aware of, that actually where, for example, everybody says the kids were never seen in the house. Well, on December 30th, there's a video out there on December 30th where AV News Crew, not AV Watchmen, but AV News Crew, is talking to Cheyenne, who is the redheaded lady that's on everybody's newscast and everybody's YouTube, whatever. She is standing there talking, and there's another woman there speaking as well. And AV News Crew says, So the kids were never seen in the house. And Cheyenne says, oh, yeah, they were never seen. And the other lady actually steps in and interrupts and says, that's not right. They have been seen in this house. And it's just a brief news clip, not mainstream news. It's A.B. Watchman, and it's from December 30th. And she actually says, yes, neighbors have seen the children in the house. Now, they didn't live there long enough for everybody to say, that's Orrin, that's Orson, that's Joey, that's Tom, whatever their names are. So nobody has brought up the fact that they knew exactly who it was, and they're apparently 6 kids. So, but somebody did say they saw the kids. And then the chief has actually come out and said that the children, initially he had said the children had never been seen in the house, and he has retracted that and said, no, yes, they have. Since
he has retracted that then.
Yes, he has retracted.
Okay. I didn't know that. Really thank you for telling me that, because I didn't know that yet. So thank you.
Yeah, so I'm going to hopefully get that video up. And then I have some really good cross references people have sent to me, like, this is a fact and here's where it's proven, so working on that as fast as I can. But life and stuff and work and jobs.
Oh yeah.
Also, I made a point of making a video about the fact that, how are these children at risk? Well, they're at risk immediately from being in the system. No matter what, they're at risk, right? Mm-hmm. But there's also this background information, and that bio families, that children get adopted through the foster adopt program, bio families that didn't really want to lose their children, they were taken away, actually put them at risk, at like an 80% risk of being the people that kidnap children. Now, I know there's this big thing out there where everybody wants to believe they're murdered, which I hate that. I'd like to believe that they were actually, right. Personally, I would like that the bio family was the one that kidnapped them, and they have them somewhere safe and alive, because they want them. But I was reading messages and stuff, and I just want to read somebody's experience that was sent to me that is exactly this. She said, I went through this with my youngest 2. We adopted them in 2010. The bio was caught across state lines. Amber Alert helped us. And she tried 2 more times when the kids started school. She said, I have a 50-year-old restraining order, OFP, on her. OFP?
I don't know.
Okay. And then she says, people just don't understand that bio parents really do try to abduct kids. My kids were 9 months and 2.5 when the Amber Alert was issued. And then when my daughter was in 2nd grade and my son in kindergarten, she said, just like Ryan Dean, who is the bio mom of these kids, she drank and used meth while pregnant. She was in denial of the abuse and neglect and saying she was a good mom. She told people we stole her kids. And she said, we used to have people stalking us for her. It was horrible. We moved 4 years ago to a new town just to get away. My kids are now 14 and 11, and our adoption was finalized in January of 2010. She kidnapped the kids the first week in February during an FCC visit. So it happened.
It does happen. Sure. Oh, absolutely. Happened here in Utah recently. It was a crazy QAnon lady who said that, her kids were taken away by the deep state, blah, blah, blah. No, the dad had custody of them because the dad was the normal one. And she took them across state lines with another woman. They were caught. Now they're going to be going to prison. It happens, especially if the bio parent is in denial about what they have done. I can imagine that's a very testy, contentious, very stressful situation. Right. So everything needs to be looked at in the West case. Everything.
And that's my point. Am I saying the West are innocent? No. Did they act strange on camera? Yes. Is there some questions about how many kids left on the 19th and how many didn't return? Yes, there are so many questions. And so my whole point is to go, well, what else let's look at, what about, a neighbor, the neighbor across the street, directly across the street now has up and moved and put their house on the market. As of yesterday, they are already gone. That's weird. So there's just so many rabbit holes you could go down and go explore. Right.
Right. Exactly. And in a situation like this, it's imperative, in my opinion, that the police chief keep releasing information and keep talking to the people. Okay. Because we don't want this to go away and be a faded memory. It needs to, it's imperative that he keep up his willingness to talk. And so far he seems to be, I mean, at least he'll be interviewed. He may not say much, but he'll be interviewed. And he needs to keep that up. So, because we can't forget, we need to be top of mind awareness with these boys, because if they're alive, they're going to be seen soon somewhere, hopefully. Yeah. So let's hope. I mean, God, I hope somebody, biological or not, kidnap them and is keeping them alive. That's what I want. That's what everybody wants. So, and if the West had something to do with it, then that's not going to be a good ending. So let's just hope and pray that they are found. But I think it's also imperative that you do that fact check, Carolyn. Carolyn, why did I call you Carolyn? I'm sorry, Catherine. I still haven't drank all my coffee yet. Catherine, it's imperative that you do that, because that way, we can point to it and say, okay, look at what Left Undone has done here. Look at the facts. Look at the rumors. Rumor becomes fact immediately. It's amazing. If we leave a rumor up on Websleuths, literally within minutes, 2 posts down, that rumor is stated as fact. So that's why I'm real anxious to see that, because I think that's going to be, it will be very important to the narrative for all the YouTubers to see and to follow. Don't state something as fact and when it's not, please, that just makes things so much worse.
Yeah, and that exactly. And I mean, and there's people that keep coming on my I have like this, the last video I did about the possibility of biofamily. Now, biofamily doesn't necessarily mean biomom. There's other people in that family that are pissed.
That aunt that was screaming, "You promised to take care of my nephews." I mean, there's all kinds of people in that family that are angry. Yeah.
Right. And there's bio dads that aren't even with the bio mom, that, there are people.
Absolutely.
So, but the people keep coming on my thing and they keep saying Jacqueline West has a criminal record, and she does not. She does not have one. And it's said over and over. And I keep saying, no, you're wrong. They're like, you didn't check your facts, Catherine. Jacqueline West. And we looked, and she does not have a criminal record. So that's one that just keeps popping up on like every other comment, and I'm like, nope. I mean, I'm not gonna dox her or whatever, but she doesn't.
Right.
She doesn't have one.
And even if she did, maybe it is nothing to do with anything like this. Maybe it happened 30 years ago when she was 18 or whatever. She did something stupid. Now if she had a criminal record for kidnapping, okay, yeah, that's relevant. But criminal records, people make mistakes all the time that mean nothing later in life.
Right.
So, did they ever say what she had a criminal record for? What they said that she did?
I think they're saying drug charges of some sort.
Well,
but
again,
it's not her. There's another person by the same name who was born in like the 70s, so it's not her that they're bringing up. And there's also somebody else did it. I can't remember the channel that did showed something on the screen that was Jacqueline West, but they said it looks like it's in a criminal record thing, but it was for patents. It wasn't it was like an application for patents for something. So, and it wasn't to do with the criminal record. Everybody's running with this. The other thing is everybody's like, because I said, the West aren't, I mean, first of all, they're foster parents. In order to be foster parents, you have to be background checked and to have, not that all foster parents are fabulous, because we know there's bad ones out there, but they said there were bottles of whiskey or something in the trash can. But the only people that have said this, there's no proof. Nobody has shown any proof of this. I said, well, that could have been planted. Law enforcement has not said that there were bottles of alcohol. And, I mean, go in my trash. There's a couple bottles of wine in there.
Right. Maybe they had a party. I mean, again, that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Give us something of substance. All right. Show an abuse situation or a temper or something. But, again, it's all rumor. And I would really just beg people, think before you post something. Your words have power. And I can tell you a great example of this, and you probably remember this, Catherine. It was the Heidi Broussard case. She was kidnapped with her newborn baby, and her fiance gave an interview, and he was very awkward. Well, he was just a good old boy, shy. He was from Texas, it happened in Texas. Good old boy, shy, never been in front of the camera, certainly never thought he'd be in front of the camera, involved in a national case looking for his missing fiance and missing baby. Everybody thought he was guilty. I mean, and I told people on Websleuths, be careful, just because he's acting weird in this one interview doesn't mean anything. Well, come to find out, it was Heidi's friend, one of her best friends, kidnapped her, killed her, put her in the trunk of her car, and kept the baby and said it was hers. And he had nothing to do with it. And a lot of people learned a very valuable lesson when that happened. So your words do have power. And believe me, he was reading, he knew what people were saying about him. And I'm sure it killed him, and you just have to be careful.
Yes. And that's what I was talking about initially, is like the responsibility. We have a responsibility to not jump to conclusions. We can speculate a little bit, but we can't accuse. We can say what if, but we can't say they did it. And that's as a nurse and as a YouTuber, I take that very seriously, that if I have a platform, I have to do right by the greater good, right? And so if the Wests are guilty, law enforcement will let us know, and there will be an arrest, and we then can go, those terrible people,
right?
Judge and jury. But we are not judge and jury right now. We don't have all the evidence, and we do have a responsibility to
absolutely right
to use our platform in the right way.
Right. You are right on, my dear. Right on.
Yeah. So, and then another thing, people jumped on me about the Orson West case. They're like, oh, but you were all over Lori Vallow. And I can promise you this. I never once said before there was an arrest and before those bodies were found that they murdered those children. I said, I hope they're alive. I'm afraid they're not. I hope they're alive. I hope they're in a bunker somewhere. But I never said Lori Vallow murdered children. You will not find anywhere where I've said that. So
yeah, and that's that's what everybody that was looking at this responsibly should have been saying is, okay, yeah, it doesn't look good for the kids. Yeah, and she's really creepy and all of that. But let's hope she's there with some, end of the world crazy person in a bunker. There's a 1% chance of that, but that's what we're going to hope for. And then, of course, when the bodies were found, then you go, okay, yeah, it is what we thought it probably was, and that's exactly what it was. So you're right. You can't accuse somebody like that and state something as fact. It just it makes. But the problem is when things get out of hand like this, it makes it so law enforcement doesn't want to work with people like us. Right. And they lump us all together. I can't tell you how many times Websleuths has been blamed for things that got out of hand on Facebook. Oh. And I had to show, no, that wasn't us. We don't allow that. It was this, it was this group here. But the name Websleuths just seems to be a catch-all for law enforcement for bad. And it's like, no. And, same thing with you. If you try and get an interview with people and they've gone on and seen these, other YouTubers that have just been irresponsible, they don't want to talk to you, and that hurts everybody.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Well, I think Chris from what's his new channel, the Investigation Room, he was with Profiling Evil. He tried to call Barry Morphew, and as soon as he said, I'm a YouTuber, Barry Morphew was like, sorry, I've been burned by, click, hung up.
Oh my God. Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had it on his video the other day. And so, but that's the thing, if I call somebody and say, hi, I'm a YouTuber, want to talk to me, they'd be like, yeah, no, because there are people out there that have done a disservice to the platform.
Exactly.
And I on the Facebook groups, I see it. They're like, these YouTubers, they're just for clicks and making money, and they just, want money and, and well, we do work hard to put our stuff together, and it is a job, believe it or not.
Right.
But just like when I said this a million times, I go to work as a registered nurse, and I'm not going to do it for free.
Exactly.
But it's to do good still. But I get paid. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Same kind of thing. Yes, we make a little bit of money. I can't survive on it. For sure.
I couldn't even begin to. No, Yeah,
yeah, that's the kind of stuff I see. But I feel like it's come from people that purposely just go on and don't do the platform any good by just being there for those reasons,
Right.
alone.
And unfortunately, the drama-filled, gossipy YouTube channels some of them are very successful. Oh. And those people do make a lot of money. We don't, but right. They do. And I could no more go on there and just make stuff up or lie or whatever that I've seen some do. And it's like, oh my God. And they have, they're making a ton of money. And it's like, I feel like they've sold their soul to the devil. Yeah. I could never do that.
Pretty much exactly. That's and I just sit there and my mouth hits the floor.
I know.
I'm like, oh, but you're not telling the truth. And
what they're saying is a lie.
Yeah.
And again, that's a great example. Barry Morphew heard that it was, a YouTuber, click. That's all it took. Oh God, that's too bad. Because Chris is a great guy. He really is a good guy.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that Barry didn't talk to him. He would have gotten a really fair shot. If Barry would have talked to Chris, it would have been good for Barry, right. So.
Yeah. So.
Such is life. Such is life.
Such is life.
Yes.
Yeah. So anything else before we let Tricia go? You got anything, Trish?
I don't. I'm just busy napping today. So
good.
Nap day. No, actually, I've got a lot of work to do. But I just wanted to thank you again. One of my subscribers sent me a link to your show a long time ago, and I enjoyed your show, and I really appreciate what you do in sticking with the facts. So thank you, my dear. And to your subscribers and people in chat, hi. Thanks for all your kind words. And I'm glad that the fact-based good YouTubers are hooking up. That's what we need to do.
Yes, it's awesome. It's definitely. And you guys go subscribe to Websleuths if you're not already subscribed, because you do 2 shows a day.
I do Monday through Friday. I do a 2 p.m. like a true crime update. That's supposed to be 15 minutes. Sometimes it goes an hour or 2. And then I do one Monday through Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, just trying to keep up, and sometimes there's nothing really to report, and I'll just go on and say there's nothing to report, and we'll chat, that's sometimes all it is. So
yeah, and you're very interactive with your chat as well, which I really like.
Yeah, I love it. The people in my chat room are wonderful people. I love them. They're great. So thank you, Catherine. This has been an honor to be here. Thank you so much. Keep up the great work, my dear. Cheers.
You too. Thank you so much, Tricia. I really appreciate it. All right, I'll let you go. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye. Well, that was awesome, you guys. I forgot to ask that question about that, but thank you. That was so nice of her to be here. I really am very appreciative when another creator comes on my show. I've only been at this for a year, and it's grown, but it's, there's just some of it that isn't been the easiest thing on earth, but I have such a solid group of subscribers. You know who you are. You're all in the chat and members, and you guys have been the backbone. And without you, my subscribers and my members, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing this anymore. So I really, really appreciate that you guys are all part of my community. And I did want to mention that, over the Orrin and Orson West case, some of my long-term subscribers decided they left because they didn't agree with me, which I think is really unfair. I mean, I've gotten to know a lot of you personally, not a ton, but a handful of you personally, my moderators, and established a personal relationship with you. But for the most part, the rest of you, we're not going to think alike on everything. We may have thought alike on the Lori Vallow case, but maybe we don't think alike on the Orrin and Orson case. But you can't personally get mad at me for my opinion and call me names, and that just makes me go, wait, what? And I've talked to Michelle and my mods about this, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me that people would be, we used to like Catherine, but now she said something I don't agree with, so now I'm gone. I didn't commit a crime, my father, God rest his soul, my dad was born and raised in Greece. And when I went to Greece last summer, I took a tour of the Acropolis, and the tour guide brought up something really important. She said, what do Greeks like to do? We like to, and I said, debate. I knew it right away because my dad would debate anybody on any subject. Like, he would give different points and I learned a lot from him. He was a very smart man. And I learned so much from him that you can actually be passionate, have a different opinion, and not character assassinate the other person with the opposite opinion at all. You don't have to do it. You can say, what? Why do you think that way? That's, in my opinion, your opinion's ridiculous. But saying you're ridiculous, you're an idiot, you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about is not the right way to do it. And so she said, without debate, we cannot have democracy. And that is exactly true. Our whole country, our whole world, is founded on this idea of we are not, my way or the highway. Don't be like that. Open up your mind, take a minute, and really think about what would the world be like if everybody thought exactly alike. Are we Stepford wives? Are we cookie cutters? No, God gave us our own mind, our own brain. And I just feel like we need to really understand when somebody has a different opinion than theirs, it doesn't mean that's a bad person. You're not a bad person because you think that the Wests aren't guilty. You're not a bad person because you think, that there's possibility there's something else out there or someone else that could have committed this crime. So that's my platform on that. But my dad was very much about that. And I would sit there and listen to him with my uncles having these back and forth debates. I have cousins that are completely opposite politically than my opinion. And we still hang out. We still have fun. I have kids my kids are split. Some are liberals and some are, but do we love each other at Christmas time? Do we still care if one of my kids was hurt, or is the other one not going to go to the hospital and cry because they think like a liberal and she thinks like a Republican? Like, you know what I mean? So that's my point. I just think that we all need to realize that this is a platform. We can talk. I am more than willing to listen to anybody say, I think it was this way. But when you attack me personally as a person and tell me that what kind of nurse are you? I'd never let you take care of me. You're a terrible nurse. Oh my God, is that how you treat your patients because I have a different opinion than you? I mean, it just blows my mind. Just blows my mind. So okay, I'll get off that platform. Let's see. Anything else, you guys? Let's see who. Yes. Aussie Insider, it was very telling, interesting to me that they are so on the attack. It's really weird. And I don't know why, but, again, when I'm going to go through the facts and do a fact video on this, and you'll see that we need to open our minds just a little bit and say, what else could have happened? we got this scenario and this scenario, and we also have to remember we don't have all the evidence. We don't have all the evidence. I go knock on Chief John's door and be like, "Can I see the evidence?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, lady, no, you cannot see the evidence. You cannot have the evidence." So, how many times have nurses heard that? A lot. Oh yeah. Are you really a nurse? I wouldn't want you to take care of oh my God, I hope you never take care of me. Are you that way? Well, you know what? My patients love me, and they always have, and they always will, because I know I'm a good nurse. So yeah, so don't attack me as a nurse. You don't know how I am on the floor. You don't know how I am with my patients. So no, I was just on my little platform about, if you go look at the comments in my most recent videos where I talk about the statistics of biofamilies being involved in kidnappings, I've been crucified. And so I'm just like, don't crucify me personally. Tell me why you think differently. Tell me why you think that couldn't possibly be the case, right? So Walker has been better than Bakersfield. Yeah, he has been very open. Like, even I popped in on Duty Ron the other night, and he actually called him back and spoke to him. And Duty Ron's like, the guy's a good guy. Like, he is actually in this for the right reasons. He keeps his phone on next to him at night. Like, he is not going to miss a beat when it comes to this case. So, we're the peanut gallery, in my opinion, but we got some really smart people that can look at things. And we also know that notoriously in these cases, the perpetrator or the suspect or whatever, the bad guy actually watches some of this. Some of these YouTube channels, I mean, we know that they watch the groups, the YouTube channels, and, keep your eyes and ears open. Sometimes they slip up. Sometimes they say something. Did you guys see the Netflix show, Don't F with Cats? That group of people in their Facebook group literally had that crime figured out and who the guy was before law enforcement did. So it's possible. Thank you, good grandma. I think you're a very careful and kind person. I've been out because I broke my wrist 3 weeks ago. Oh my gosh, don't go breaking your wrist. That's awful. Did you fall? Catherine, you never have to apologize for people that drop your channel. Narrow minds that can't share opinion. I think that opinion is not what this channel is about. Love seeing Tricia today. I know that was really nice that she was here, wasn't it? And I'm also hopefully gonna have. There is a guy. His name is Ben. He has a YouTube channel. He's in the UK, and we are trying to collab. So he's a body language expert. He did do a video on the West, and we're going to try to get him to expand on that a little bit, and hopefully he can come on. It may not be a live stream because of the time difference, between them and here, but we can I will get it out. Once he does it, I'm going to interview him and ask him some questions, and I'll put it up. It may just be recorded. It may not be a live stream. I like to do my guests on live stream, but it really doesn't matter. Either way, you guys get to see the info. Yes, catch that Netflix video. I think it's on Netflix. It's like 4 episodes. It was really, I was like, people kept telling me, you guys in the chat kept telling me to watch it. I finally did. I was like, oh my gosh, the power of social media. Oh, good grandma. I'm sorry. Did you have to have surgery, or is it going to be repaired without surgery? All right, let's see. So, yes. Oops, wait a minute. Where I just lost. Oh, this was one I was looking for. That was amazing. I saw that. The killer is one psychotic and frightening guy. Oh, yeah. What stinks is they were on it. What is it? They were on it before the law enforcement was. They were like, we know who it is. You need to watch The Long Shot on Netflix. The Long Shot? Okay. Wrote it down. I'm always looking for a good one. Aussie Insider. I knew exercising was bad for you, right? Dang it. I'm going to send my Peloton back. I need to get my butt on it today. Oh yeah. The Night Stalker docuseries was so interesting and detailed and narrated by the lead detectives. So good. And when Tricia brought up that about the t-shirt, the way they found who bought the shoes was unbelievable. That's really good. I'm not done with it yet. I still got more to go. I'm not done with that. But I was like, oh, holy crap, that the way they were able to like find the shoe print, find the maker of the shoe, find out who bought like how many of those shoes were sold. Richard Ramirez. Yes. It's good. It's good. You got to watch it. Oh yeah. Michelle's reminding you to hit that like button before you head out, please. Thank you. I spoke with Luca Magnotta on Facebook when he believed he was in a relationship with Carla. Oh, wow. Wow, that is super cool. Yeah, you want to watch it. It's good. It's good. And I'm just like, wow. And all the behind the scenes stuff that's going on. And again, he got caught by people that saw his face and somebody saw him in the bus and then called the police and he went running. Like, it's really good. So he was seen out in public, recognized. Unfortunately, some of our political people in California sort of messed up a part of the investigation. You'll have to watch it. Go watch it. It's really good. It's really good. I'm going for a long walk after this show. No Peloton here. I know. I bought okay. So I had the Peloton bike, and I thought I was going to love it, and I hated it. I just was like, I don't want to get on that thing. I do it, and I get on it, and Anyways, I wound up letting my daughter have it. So it's at her house, so I can use it when I go there. And I ordered the Peloton Tread. This thing is like the freaking Mercedes-Benz of treadmills. But what I really like about it is with the Peloton, you can do the Pilates classes, the yoga classes, the bike. You can have 3 people in your membership at one time. And it has like the scenic walk. I've walked through, I don't know, a bunch of places in Italy and Switzerland and all that. Plus it has the live classes. So they tell you to like increase your incline and decrease. And the video, the screen on it is just huge. Yes, it's not cheap. Yes, I am financing it. But to me, every time I actually join a gym, I don't use my membership the way I do when I have something at home to use. Some people are completely opposite. Some people have to go to the gym. But I just got to get myself in the habit of being on it when I'm scrolling through Facebook or different things like that. When I'm reading the comments, I have to get in the habit of being on it instead of sitting, because I never had a sit down job. I was a flight attendant. I was chasing kids for 12, until I went to work as a nurse. And then I was a floor nurse, running. And I'm not kidding you, having a desk job, I weigh 20 pounds more now than I did when I had a job where I was active. So I'm like, oh, plus I'm older, there's that, your metabolism changes, but yeah, all the different places are amazing. So let's see so my friend is coming up from San Diego today, and she's going to spend the night and hang out with me. She's my friend from high school. Was back at my wedding, there when all my kids were born. Well, a couple of them, I think. And I'm super excited that she's going to come visit. So we're going to hang out today. And I get my COVID shot tomorrow. And then, for members, we will do movie night tomorrow night. We're still watching the episodes of Truth Be Told on Apple Plus and The Morning Show. And then after that, I'm thinking what we're going to do, instead of watching a series the next time, is we'll pick some different crime type shows to watch, and we'll watch those on Sunday night. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, they're 4 episodes in, so why am I going to go? But if we do something new every weekend, then thank you, Moonlight View. If we do some, what was I going to say? Dude, there's not much coffee left, but my brain is not working. Let's see. See. My dog doesn't have exercise for one day. It keeps me on my toes with mischief, like chasing cars. Oh yeah, you have to chase him, chasing cars. So there goes the car, there goes the dog, and there goes you. Big massive hail to fetch him and rouse him. That's hilarious. Thank you. Love movie nights. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, it's fun. It's still good. And then I know I saw Melissa in the chat, and she said her membership was canceled, but she might have missed it. I put there's only one membership level at this point, and everybody gets the same perks. So it's the $1.99 level. You get the emojis. You get the movie night. You get the Discord. You get the what else are we doing? The happy hour. So all that, and then I will be I need to put a discount up for my merchandise. I still don't have my merchandise shelf. Apparently YouTube is not in a hurry, even though once you hit 10,000, you're supposed to have your merchandise shelf, but they're not in a hurry to give it to me. So discount on merch. Yes, I will do that for sure. I need to put a new one up. A sunny day shall not be wasted, right, Lisa? I'll be working on my fact check video, and then hopefully we'll get the interview with Ben going really soon too. Anything else before we hit it? Yes, this is true. Orrin and Orson West. Someone knows something. Say something loud. Orrin and Orson West. Absolutely, Dee Dee. Somebody knows something. 100%. Somebody knows something. Somebody needs to just cave in and give up the info. There's a reward, but even the guilty person probably, well, if they're a sociopath, they won't feel guilty, but where'd it go? We had an extreme storm here in San Luis Obispo County. Finally stopped yesterday afternoon. We flooded at my house. Oh gosh, that's awful. Flooded. I'm just looking at the chat to see if there's anything. Thanks for the live with Tricia. Yes. Really, really super cool that she came on. There's a lot of other creators. So if anybody's a creator that wants to collab, if you know of them, I would love to have them on, or I'll go on theirs, because, I enjoy having a discussion instead of me just like talk. I really enjoy the collaborations because we can discuss things and get other points of view without telling each other you're a horrible person. I think it sets a good example for how things are supposed to go down. Yes. Good grandma, please heal quickly and pain-free ASAP. Yes, please, good grandma. And, I know there's, a lot of people been sick and all that kind of stuff. So we want everybody to be here and be well. All right. So let's see. I'm going to wrap it up. Oh, would love to hear my stories about hospice. Did you watch Tricia's Woo-Woo Friday night that I was on, or Saturday night Woo-Woo last weekend? I told a bunch of my hospice stories on there. Thank you, Aussie. 4 a.m. to catch a live. Oh, I must be fabulous then. I won't wake up for 4 a.m. The other day when my son-in-law was on MSNBC, I actually woke up, turned on the TV, and fell back to sleep and missed the whole thing. Although I hit record. I was smart enough to hit record. So thank you so much. Yes, everyone have a great weekend. Yeah. Would love a collaboration with Nora Jasmine. Yeah, she would be a really good person to collaborate with, for sure. Yes, there. One of the Netflix docs. Okay, it is Netflix. Yeah. Yeah, check it out for sure. Thank you, Princess. What is the YouTube channel of Tricia you're on? Websleuths. Websleuths is her YouTube channel. She's just down to earth, real, and she's smart, and she has a lot of good information, and she has a great community too. So yeah, check her out. Go over there. Those are good stories. You liked my hospice stories? Yeah, it was a very interesting experience being a hospice nurse. Yes, Websleuths. There you go. Thank you, Athena. YouTube channel. Yeah. All right. So thank you for being here. Thank you for an awesome show. I know that we had quite a few people in the chat and viewing today, and I really appreciate it. And thank you very much. And if you don't mind hitting the like button or the dislike button, but I prefer the like button. I had a lot. I get like 98% likes, and on my last couple of videos, my dislikes were up quite a bit, but that's okay. It still works with the YouTube algorithm. So whatever floats your boat, whatever you want to say. So thank you for being here. Thank you, Eleni. And I am going to head out and go make my bed because my friend's coming. So she doesn't think I didn't make my bed because I care. I actually make my bed almost every day. But not that you care. All right, I'm rambling now. Take care, and I will see you soon. Thanks for being here, and have a great weekend. See you members tomorrow night for movie night. Bye.